Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman case. Everybody wants to make this out to be something that we here at the Akron Today show don't feel like the point is really being made. First of all, we see the photos that they are trying to say were a couple of years old that made Trayvon Martin appear to be a babyface kid and George Zimmerman appearing to be a chubby troublemaker. The point of the photos has nothing to do with the case, in our opinion. And if you want to point at the photos, then you also have to point at the fact that George Zimmerman's photo was taken in a police lineup for allegedly assaulting a police officer, which the charges were later dropped. But if you want to make a point about the photos, then let's bring that point out also. The point that is not being brought out. We're hearing on the news that Zimmerman was a self-defense case, and that's all fine and dandy. The point is, it was also a self-defense case for Trayvon Martin. He had the right to defend himself. They heard him crying on the 911 tape, begging for his life, in a sense. So our point is, where is the case? If you're gonna plead George Zimmerman had the right to defend himself, then you also have to add in Trayvon Martin had the right to defend himself. And I don't think that point is being brought out in this case. We're hearing that Zimmerman had the right to defend himself and Trayvon broke his nose and all of this, but on the same right, you have to say that Trayvon Martin was defending himself. Just like any other citizen in the United States of America, if we're walking down the street and somebody is following us and then they approach us, we have the right to defend ourselves to try to save our life, unless it's a police officer, and then we have the right to make that police officer prove that they're actually a legitimate officer. So we hear on the news Zimmerman was defending himself, and that's the only reason he's not behind bars. He should be behind bars for the simple fact that the police informed him and told him outright, do not follow. Now, just by him breaking the police's order to not to follow means that he should be at least in jail awaiting trial. Just like I said, if we're walking down the street and somebody is following us and they're not a police officer, we have the right to defend ourselves also. So just like George Zimmerman had the right to defend himself, Trayvon Martin had the right to defend himself. So in each case, they both have a case of self-defense. The only difference is Trayvon Martin wasn't the follower. Trayvon Martin wasn't the one with the gun, and Trayvon Martin is the one that's deceased. So we want that part to be brought out in the media, because we don't hear anybody saying that Trayvon Martin, we hear people saying Trayvon Martin broke his nose and this. You would do that if somebody was following you and your life was in jeopardy. You have the right to defend yourself. self. Based on that, George Zimmerman should at least be in jail today. That's our comment. This is the Akron Today Show. Hope this gets out, and hope that this word is being spread that Trayvon Martin had the right to defend himself. His life was in jeopardy. He had the right to defend himself if somebody came up on him and he felt his life was in jeopardy. He is entitled to the same law, under that law, to defend himself.